we do our final from scrimmage position preview of the year, as it's time to preview Tennessee football spring ball again. Tennessee football defensive backs getting ready for spring practice. What does Tennessee football look like in the secondary this year? We're going to play a little hot or cold. First, Tennessee lost 2 transfers. Jordan Matthews transferred to the Vanderbilt Commodores. That was a shocking one. I was very high on him as a transfer, as a recruit, as a 4-star to Louisiana. Louisiana kids typically pan out, but he fell behind Ricky Gibson as a starter. We're going to get to Ricky Gibson in a minute. But Jordan Matthews transferred. Christian Harrison transferred. The Vols lost Will Brooks to graduation. Christian Harrison was a regular player in the rotation last year, particularly because Jordan Thomas had a season-ending injury. Jordan Thomas is back. We'll get to that. But most notably, they lost Jordan Matthews, Christian Harrison. Harrison played. Will Brooks was a starter. They lost him to graduation. The other player that they lost was a walk-on in William Wright. So those are the 4 losses. Now, most notably, they have 3 headliners. Boo Carter, Jermon McCoy, and, yes, Ricky Gibson III. Ricky Gibson III is currently in the transfer portal. We speculate that it's about money. Boo Carter is getting more looks on offense. Jermon McCoy tore his ACL and is expected to be back in September, but we're not sure of that. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. But a lot of guys to talk about in the secondary. So let's go ahead and play hot or cold with everybody in there. And we're going to talk about guys that are going to have a big impact and what we think they might do that are coming back. First, Andre Turrentine at safety. Guys, I know he started 3 years. I think Andre Turrentine is overrated. I think he gets out of position a lot. I think he has limitations. I'm actually cold on Andre Turrentine. His PFF grade was 53.3 last year. Even with Christian Harrison and Will Brooks leaving, I just don't think Andre Turrentine has what it takes as other guys get more experience in the system. One of those guys, which I'm going to next, that I'm hot on, Jordan Thomas. Jordan Thomas missed all of last season with an injury. I think he's going to be healthy this year. I think he's going to be fully ready to go. And with that in mind, I think Jordan Thomas is going to be an impact player for the Vols. And so I am actually, believe it or not, hot on Jordan Thomas. So, yeah, Jordan Thomas is, I think, going to be one of the safeties. Jalen McMurray. This dude was a baller. I think he might actually be a starting cornerback this year. He showed a lot of promise for Tennessee. And because of that, he had a 75.7 PFF grade transferring from Temple. I think he's only going to get better this year. I'm hot on Jalen McMurray. I'm hot on Jalen McMurray as a major, major player for Tennessee. And I think he's going to be able to have a huge impact. Jalen McMurray, I think, could end up being a star. So watch out for that. Jacoby Thomas, 69.9 PFF grade transferring from MTSU last year. I think he supplants Andre Turrentine as the other safety this year. I think Jacoby Thomas, Jordan Thomas are the 2 safeties. I think Jalen McMurray is one of the cornerbacks. I am very hot on Jacoby Thomas too. I am. The experience, I think, will have a big deal. So I'm hot on Jordan Thomas, Jacoby Thomas, Jalen McMurray, cold on Andre Turrentine. John Slaughter, I'm cold on him. He's been there for 2 years. He still hasn't been much of an impact player. He's going to be a depth guy. I'm surprised he didn't transfer, honestly. I know he had an interception last year. He's played in 20 games at Tennessee. He recovered that onside kick, funny enough, but he's only had garbage time to this point, and it's hard for me to see him doing anything more after not doing much as a sophomore. So I'm actually cold on John Slaughter. Christian Charles, I'm cold on him too. I believe that Christian Charles is a speedster who never developed into a true cornerback. I'm surprised he stayed in the program. He came with Deshaun Rucker. Deshaun Rucker didn't work out either. I thought Christian Charles would do the same thing and transfer, and he ended up not doing that. All right, so we have a bunch of freshmen we're going to get to now that are all kind of intriguing that I want to talk about. First is Idris Farouk, who comes out of St. Francis Academy in Maryland. I'm cold on him. I just don't think he's going to end up having the impact that they thought. I don't think he's going to be able to provide a lot of depth for Tennessee this year. So I think with that, I'm cold on Idris Farouk. Caleb Beasley. Believe it or not, I'm actually hot on him. Again, these 2 guys were in the system last year. They redshirted. and they didn't play. But I think Beasley actually could end up getting into the rotation this year. I think Beasley could be a very, very solid player. We're going to see what he brings to the table in the spring. So I'm actually pretty hot on Caleb Beasley. And so we're going to see where that goes. Marcus Gorey Jr. I'm hot on him. I'm actually hot on him. I'm just hot on Chattanooga guys in general. I usually typically believe in them. They almost always work out. So Marcus Gorey Jr., I'm actually hot on him. I think he could end up being a very, very effective player for Tennessee going forward. Andre Stewart, cold on him. Don't think he's going to do much. The same with Jackson Matthews, cold on him. Don't really think he's going to do much. Andre Stewart goes to Tennessee out of Georgia. Jackson Matthews from Franklin, Tennessee. Some walk-ons to get to. We got to talk Montreal Brandy, Colin Brazel, and Steele Katina. Cold on all of them. They're walk-ons. All right, what about freshmen? Trey Podiat out of Wisconsin. I think he's a smart player. I think he's one of those more polished, ready players coming out of high school. I think because of that, I'm hot on him, and I think he's going to have an impact. Dylan Lewis, 3-star out of Georgia. Typically, I believe in Georgia kids, and I believe in Dylan Lewis. I'm pretty hot on him. I think this defensive back recruiting class is very elite, which is going to get to something I want to talk about with the headliners in a minute. Timothy Merritt, 4-star out of Alabama. Very hot on him. I could see him actually working his way into the starting rotation at cornerback, funny enough. I think he's going to be a freshman phenom. So watch out because I'm very, very, very big on Timothy Merritt. I'm also big on Ty Redmond, another 3-star out of Georgia. Very big on him. Hot on him too. Hot on all 4 of these freshmen I named. I think Merritt and Podiat could be impact players this year, but Lewis and Redmond will be impact players in the system long-term and provide depth. The one oddball out in this, the fifth wheel, if you will, is Sidney Walton out of Alabama, the other defensive back in this class. I'm cold on him. I don't think he's going to end up working out. Now we get to the headliners. Boo Carter, Jamal McCoy, and Ricky Gibson. All bring hype and all have questions entering 2025. And I'm going to set that up as a poll question. First, hot or cold, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. That's right, City Heating and Air Conditioning. 50 years in East Tennessee. Integrity matters. City Heat and Air.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
All right, so I'm setting up this poll question, and you guys give me your vote. So what's most likely? Jamal McCoy is 100% in September. Ricky Gibson III comes back. Boo Carter only plays defense. Boo Carter is the next Travis Hunter. Okay, so you guys let me know which of these 3 is the most likely. Jamal McCoy is 100% in September. Ricky Gibson III comes back. Boo Carter is the next Travis Hunter. These are our headliners. Boo Carter. I'm hot on him. I'm sizzling on him. I am on fire with him. I think Boo Carter is the next Travis Hunter. I believe he's going to be a superstar in college football this year. He's going to be an impact player on offense in the slot, and he's going to be a star. He's going to play mostly nickel. But nickel is effectively just a third cornerback now, and I think he's going to be a hard hitter. He's going to make a lot of impact plays for Tennessee on defense and in the secondary. I'm extremely hot on Boo Carter now. Jamal McCoy, best cornerback for Tennessee. Cold on him. Cold. When Tennessee's going to need him most, he won't be at his best. One, he got worked last year by elite receivers, by Jeremiah Smith. He got worked against Ohio State, and he got worked at Georgia. He's going to play Georgia in September this year, and he's coming back from an ACL tear that happened in January. He's not going to be 100%, even if he'll be starting. That's a problem. I'm cold on Jamal McCoy. Ricky Gibson III. I'm hot on Ricky Gibson III. I think he's trying. This is an NIL play for him. He's trying to get more money, and I think that he's going to come back and end up starting. So I think he'll be the number 1 cornerback too. So what I think Tennessee's defensive back situation is going to look like next year. The starters, I do think, are going to be and this is early, but I still see by midseason, I think Jamal McCoy and Ricky Gibson are the starters again at quarterback. With McCoy banged up, I think Jalen McMurray is going to be the starting cornerback with Ricky Gibson III. And while Gibson works on whatever he needs to do to get back, I think that the freshman, Timothy Merritt's going to actually step in and be an effective cornerback. So I think Jalen McMurray, Timothy Merritt are the backup cornerbacks. Ricky Gibson and Jermon McCoy are the starters. I think Christian Charles is the 5th cornerback because I think the 2 starting nickels are going to be Boo Carter, and the backup at nickel is going to be Jalen McMurray, who will roll over if Boo Carter's out, which would make Christian Charles the 5th cornerback. So that's still with 2 cornerbacks and a nickel that allows you to go 16, if that makes sense. Now at safety, I think the starting safeties are going to be ready for this. Jordan Thomas coming back from injury, who I think is going to be elite, and Jacoby Thomas. I think the 2 Thomas brothers are going to be the starters at safety. And I got the backups being Caleb Beasley and the backups at safety, I think, are going to be Caleb Beasley and Andre Turrentine. Andre Turrentine is more of a veteran guy. He'll be in the rotation, but I think he'll fall behind Jordan Thomas and Jacoby Thomas. As far as the poll question goes, everybody's of those 3, what is most likely? Jamal McCoy 100% in September. Ricky Gibson III comes back. Boo Carter's the next Travis Hunter. 100% are saying that Ricky Gibson III comes back. I think that is the most likely too. I'll give you guys that. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that rolls. But I think all 3. I think the only one that's not likely is Jamal McCoy being 100% in September. I think Boo Carter is the next Travis Hunter too. You guys can think I'm crazy, but that's just how I roll. And honestly, I see All-American potential from Boo Carter this year. We'll have to see how that plays out.